You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who, disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Walter on iWalter. It's actually almost like about 4:30 in the morning on this August 7th, 2015. I'm actually getting an extremely late start. I was kind of goofing off a little bit. I actually experimented, too. I bought this Blu-ray player on eBay, and I don't think it's supposed to be completely region-free for both Blu-rays and DVDs. Unfortunately, I did try a DVD, like some Region 2 ones I have, because I like Doctor Who, and I got a lot of those. And then I got some other movies and stuff you just can't buy in the U.S. for some reason or another. So one of them was this movie you can't find in the U.S., actually. It was right here in Pennhurst, which I think is outside of, if I remember correctly, it's near Phoenixville, actually. It's not too far. The Mental State Hospital, Pennhurst, it's shut down. They have that haunted thing every year, and they're starting it up actually now. It's really expensive anymore. Anyway, Michael Rooker made a movie over here in Pennhurst, and a friend had asked him, so it's like an ongoing joke with this one friend and his brother, where we got to see Michael Rooker's at these conventions all the time, these comic conventions. So one friend, he says, I want to get a picture of Michael Rooker because he's also was on Walking Dead, and this friend's a really big Walking Dead fan, so I'm not that much. I mentioned that yesterday. So anyway, the friend had asked Michael Rooker, he, got the autograph, the photo, and he asked Michael Rooker, he said, yeah, what about that movie Pennhurst you did? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, brother, is what Michael Rooker said. So the ongoing joke between the friend, me, and the friend's brother is we always have a picture of the friend with Michael Rooker, and we're always making jokes about, well, I don't know what you're talking about, brother, from this Pennhurst movie that is really bad. It's extremely bad. So you can't find it in the U.S., and it must say something because I was able to buy it from Amazon UK, and it cost me no more than about $5. So that was basically the movie itself, brand new on Amazon, was about less than £2, and the shipping was more expensive. I think that was another £2 there. So I'm not even kidding. It came out to around a little over $5. And I thought it was hilarious. It's why did you buy that? It's the worst film ever made. That's the whole principle about buying it, though, because it is so bad. So right now in my background of my show, I actually have the Pennhurst movie rolling. And I wasn't going to take out the shrink wrap, but I heard about this movie, so I want to make that part of my trailer tonight, or my picture for my my podcast. Some woman, from one of these horror links on my Facebook, she was saying that she just rented this movie called, I'm going to turn this off because I know it's going to start up. This movie called Clown by Eli Roth. Now, Eli Roth, I like some of his stuff, actually. I actually thought Cabin Fever was really good. It just was really disturbing as well. So I figured, oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind renting this movie because this woman said it was it was the first clown movie, some type of horror movie about clowns that actually really bothered this woman on Facebook. It was I never even heard of the movie. It came out last year, Well, it's still you can't buy it in the U.S. That's the problem. The movie, I guess, is either that bad or that disturbing. And I looked at every different link that you could rent it from, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So it was like, okay, this really sucks. Here's a movie that, like, they're saying how good it is, how it's a good movie, but you can't rent it. You can't find it. And I okay, I haven't done this in over a year, but maybe I'm going to have to end up, unfortunately, downloading it illegally, which I really don't want to do. So, lo and behold, even the source I used to go, my old source for, for downloading movies was not there. So it's like, okay, this is really difficult. So, I can't. I was going to say make a long story short. I decided that maybe I'm just going to have to buy the movie. I looked around. The only place I could buy the movie from, this movie called Clown, 2014 is the release date, or, when it was in the theaters, or, for rent, whatever you want to call it. It was like, I found it on Amazon UK, and it was like, I think it was Region 2 then, obviously. It was like, God, I'm trying to think, £6. So it was like, okay, that was for the DVD, but then it was like, yeah, but what if I want the Blu-ray version? It was like, okay, they have the Blu-ray version, but even in England, it only comes as an import, to England, which means I'm buying an import from an import. So the problem with that is that was region, on Blu-ray, it was region M2, I think, something like that. And it was like, okay, that's like in Italy. It said actually Italy. What am I saying? And the problem with that is, though, I'm like afraid, like my Blu-ray player will play foreign movies. It's funny, though, at least on DVDs, but ironically, it won't, and it plays Blu-rays. But the weird thing is, I put some regular DVD in here, and I guess because they had to mod it, it's a Sony, It's a Sony Blu-ray player that was region tampered with, basically region unlocked, and it was like, okay, this is cool, though. I mean, I'll take it. But, yeah, it doesn't play regular DVDs. It only plays basically foreign DVDs. Now, Blu-rays, I think, is a different story. It's not a big deal, but, because I basically bought it for my foreign stuff. But bottom line is I would have bought this movie Clown on Blu-ray, which I would have preferred. But I'm afraid, it was like £16, or it was like £12, something like that. It came out to like $20. 20-some bucks, and it was like, okay, what if I buy this movie and then I can't play it? So I know for a fact this is where it comes around, I guess, so to speak. I do know for a fact that the DVDs that I get like their Region 2, I'm guaranteed that any Region 2, which is basically England, DVD will play with not a fuss. So that's exactly what I was looking for. So anyway, it was like $14 with the shipping. I have no worries. I know this movie Clown will play, and that's what I was looking for. Because what if it's a movie I really don't like? I actually mentioned that to a friend. It's like on a voicemail because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to get a hold of most people at after 11 o'clock. So anyway, yeah, that was what I did tonight. I'm really curious though, because I like to talk to this person if I could. Again, they said like, okay, because mostly these clown movies, I've seen different ones. I've seen the one Vulgar. That was actually pretty disturbing in a different way. And then I also saw this other movie where this kid turns into a clown. He gets like bitten by this monstrous clown. I can't remember. I think it's called Stitches. That was actually really good too. I can't say anything about the movie called Clown, but I'm going by that it's Eli Roth. And I think I should check that up real quick because I think Eli Roth actually did do Cabin Fever. That was the one that actually was not only good, but it was actually very, very disturbing. And it's basically about flesh-eating disease. Now, years ago, Eli Roth was actually also on Stern, if I remember correctly. Movies it says he's done is called it's Green Inferno, which I've heard of, Hostel, Knock Knock, Cabin Fever, and Inglourious Basterds. You know what? It's kind of funny because I have a friend he actually really liked Inglourious Basterds. Now, I know people who didn't like it. It got really bad reviews. And because I think that was also, I didn't know Eli Roth had something to do with that because I think that was more Quentin Tarantino. But a friend who had actually seen that movie, he actually really enjoyed it. Inglourious Basterds. And I kept on wanting to buy it because you can buy it like in the $5 bin, even on Blu-ray. So, yeah, and I never did it, and I was going to even just rent it and watch it, and I never got around to doing that either. I probably even did buy it, I just forgot about it. I don't know. I don't think I did. So anyway, yeah, there's not much. There was some interesting stuff at work. I'm actually almost hoping this is going to happen. But the one girl, she actually does. She'll walk around. Some guy told me today, this one girl that drives me nuts. She's not a bad-looking girl, but it's just that attitude I can't deal with. The guy said, yeah, I came in early today, and she was walking around in the afternoon. Now, this is like a pharmaceutical company. The girl's walking around with spandex on and a school bag. Okay? Like, you're some type of technician, and you're walking around like you're a high school student or a college student, basically flaunting your body, wearing tights. Like the guy said, quote unquote, yeah, she wore these really ultra tight pants, leggings or something, or pants today. And then she had her school bag on, walking around. But as soon as she knows I'm coming in, trust me, she puts on her uniform to cover up. And it's like, you know what? I hate to say it. There's another girl at work. She wears spandex all the time. And you know what? When you don't make a big deal out of it, I hate to say this, it just I have no interest. My interest is gone. So the point is, by this girl just going out of her way just to be, really arrogant, you're just, in my opinion, with me, you're making me more interested. What are you trying to hide? Because trust me, my attention span, once I look at a girl who actually is not making a big deal out of it, it's pretty much gone after a few seconds. Maybe once or twice I'll look again, but it doesn't last that long before I just completely say, okay, it's not even worth my effort anymore. So by her being as arrogant as she is, she doesn't realize she's just making me more fascinated with what she's trying to hide, because it's obviously she's playing games. So, but the good point is I may not have to deal with her much longer, because from I understand, she and this other person that drives me nuts, they may temporarily it's called flex float into another area, which won't be far to be in the same building, but they're gonna deal with people who won't deal with your games, basically. They're going to say, okay, if you want to play these games, you're not going to do it here. So that's going to be number one. That's going to make me really happy. Number two is by October, they may be gone altogether. I might not have to be bothered by them. She won't have to play the games because she's going to be looking for another job. And, I hate to be a total douchebag about it, but the fact that she's making such a big deal out of it, I just can't wait for that to possibly happen. And it was kind of an irony too, because I said yesterday, usually people who, if I would wait, and it was just ironic that it happened the next day, if I wait long enough, people told me, a woman at work, a friend of mine, and this one guy always tells me this, that eventually what people do, the people who are really evil to you, they eventually get paid back. And I didn't expect it to happen the next day, that something would start to happen, but it literally happened the day after I did this show, saying, okay, I just can't wait to something to happen to these people that are just really obnoxious to me. And they actually had the nerve to like get other people involved in saying, oh yeah, they're going to be eliminating two, they're going to, like I said, it's called flex flow. They're going to flex flow two people that are lowest seniority to another area. And it's like, they got everybody riled up, and it's like, but the problem is, they did in such a way that nobody knows who these two people might possibly be. And the reason for that, though, is a lot of people behind these, it's a guy and a girl who may be, quote unquote, flex flow. They don't realize, but there's a lot of people who don't like them. They act like they do, but I've seen them act differently. So that's pretty funny that, oh, yeah, we should stop this. We can't afford to lose two people because even for a little bit of time because it's not right. But these people are saying that they don't realize they're not very well liked, the ones that are going to get moved temporarily. So it's kind of a pretty funny situation. So... And at this point, I will do anything in my power just to see that happen so I don't have to look at them. I don't have to deal with their games. They don't have to act like I'm some type of crazy stalker, whatever, because it's kind of funny. Before I became the protagonist for these juveniles at my job, they don't realize it, but they used to pick on this one guy because a friend reminded me of this. They would pick on this one guy. They used to harass this guy. And now all of a sudden this guy is like their best friend. So, because they found somebody else they could torture and play games with. And it was like, it just fascinates me that a professional place, up to this point, may allow this stuff to go on. Well, that's going to change because I heard they might, put, basically a Big Brother equivalent into my building, which means basically cameras and stuff, which I really don't want to deal with. We never had this issue before. One friend worked in the building. But obviously, since, and she basically took on a lot of the burdens that other people didn't want to do. She didn't seem to mind. But the problem is now, when they removed her, I basically made it pretty clear right up front, I'm not going to do somebody else's job. So that was another irony, too, because the reason these people are also getting moved simply was because the higher up in my job said, listen, you know what? You folks are like, there's nothing going on right now, so we're going to need to move you to an area that they need more help, even if it's just for a couple days or just temporarily. Well, that's what started the whole ball rolling, because they're afraid this is going to be like the first step before they just tell them that, hey, we don't need you at all, actually. And, when I actually, for the past, I forget how many, I've been in this particular position for 3 years, this job position I'm in now. I don't know how many times after I lost my partner, my coworker, that I begged for help and they just ignored me. In fact, one time I will never forget, there was this girl, she was supposed to be helping me, and I said, hey, can you help me? She was like not a equivalent coworker, but she was supposed to be helping me with something, and I asked her, can you help me? And she said, and I'll never forget this is one of these things that when you're an adult, you don't forget things. She said, quote unquote, I have confidence that you can do this on your own. It was like, okay, so I won't forget that. She's gone now, too, though, this girl who said that. She's not gone from the company. I was kind of almost praying she would be, but I'm not sure, but I think she actually got a job elsewhere away from me. So that old saying of out of sight, out of mind, it actually really does work. When I don't have to deal with people that are complete extreme assholes, it definitely helps. It really does. I think that's true for anybody. So anyway, I went off a little bit too long on that. It was like a lot longer than I actually expected. So I'm going to take a peek real quick and see where this Pennhurst movie's at. Like you can see it. I know you can't. Oh, it's over. Wow. That's pretty bad. I wasn't really interested in it. I just wanted to make sure it worked, and it's already over. Wow. But, oops, I moved my screen. The funny thing about that Pennhurst movie, again, was Michael Rooker made the movie, and it was so bad he just even did not want to acknowledge how bad the movie, that he actually made the movie. It was like, dude, you put your own money in. You directed this film. And it's so bad, it looks like something I actually probably would have put together. I mean, actually, it makes my stuff look really good. That's how bad it is. But what was I going to say? Yeah, he actually acts in the movie, too. It was like, okay, it's one thing to deny you made a movie called Pennhurst, which they actually changed the name to, let me look at it again, The Lost episode. But it's really bad when you say, I don't know what you're talking about. I never made a movie called Pennhurst. And then yet you are not only the director of the film, but you actually put yourself in the movie as well. So, yeah, that's pretty bad. That you try to deny something. It's like taking a cookie out of the cookie jar and say, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have anything in my hand. I don't have my hand in any cookie jar. What are you talking about? And yet, yeah, you're like caught red-handed. I know that's a really bad analogy, but it's about like as bad as that, though, if that otherwise. So, yeah. So I'm sorry. I am literally just rambling on. There was a guy at work, by the way. His name is Daryl. He's a really cool guy. I remember him from years ago working elsewhere. And he actually, it was the first person I didn't even have to fight, because I've asked people at work, hey, do you want to like do, a podcast with me? It'd be nice to have somebody else's voice besides mine, because I know I get very annoying just listening to myself even. It does it to me. And he actually came up to me and says, I'd like to do a podcast with you sometime. And I was like, yeah, trust me, you don't even have to twist my arm. I'll do it. I would love to have this guy, Daryl. He's a really cool guy. If he hears this, definitely I want to do something with you. I'll even bring a mic, which I'm not really supposed to do. I'll bring a mic to the work. I can hook it up to my laptop. I can actually do a podcast practically anywhere. It's just a matter, I think I have to reinstall the software there, which is not that difficult. It takes a little bit of time, but it's not hard. And I'm always looking for people who are willing to volunteer their time and suffer through me, like being on the show with me. So if Daryl does listen to this, dude, I will do a show with you. You don't even have to, pressure me. Just let me know and I'll bring the mic in. I might even let him know by tomorrow, like, hey, if you want to, I'll just set up a time where I'm not, extremely busy. Which like tonight I was real busy at work. But when I'm not busy, I'll just bring a mic in. We'll just sit in a room and we can just, BS. I'll do that with anybody who's interested in, willing to spend the time again with me and do a show. I don't mind. So, yeah, it's Friday morning. It's actually almost 4:45, so I actually got to cut this off soon. But I just wanted to touch base. I knew I was going in even with less information or less to talk about than I normally do. I just figured I'd give it a shot. So I'm not sure. Oh, this weekend again, my friend, well, for one thing, he actually came back. He was on the left coast, as I like calling it. And he just got back tonight. So I'm surprised. I talked to him, my one friend Matt, so he's back. And another thing is, it was mainly that, but another thing is I'm actually going to go see this movie called Amy Winehouse. I mentioned it before. It's actually, I keep on saying tomorrow, which it feels like it's Saturday, but I'm trying to do something, so I apologize, folks. But I'm actually going to see it on Saturday, so it's not tomorrow, it's the next day, and it's going to be the 7 o'clock show. There was 3 shows over at the Phoenixville movie theater, so hey, if you're there, you might even see Walter Interrante. Oh, that was the thing I wanted to mention, folks. I think it was yesterday. It was Lucille Ball's birthday. So that was pretty cool. I put that on my Facebook page. And I just noticed now, yeah, it says happy birthday, Lucille Ball. August 6, 1911 was when she was born. That was yesterday. April 26, 1989 when she passed away. She was really cool. And there was another article. There was I don't have that much on my plate tonight. I'll admit to that. The Dreamin' Demon. There was an article. Regina Dilworth tried baptizing her baby in irrigation ditch while high on bath salts. The 22-year-old was arrested after she got high on bath salts and tried again baptizing her baby in an irrigation ditch because God told her it was the baby was possessed. Yeah, so that's the highlight of my stories, unfortunately. I didn't really have much more to talk about tonight, so I'm trying to do a quick look. Hey, this looks pretty good. Maybe I'll read this real quick since I don't have much information. BloodyDisgusting.com. Godzilla to be terrifying thanks to Japanese cutting-edge special effects. With the Attack of the Titan, its sequel and accompanying television miniseries releasing through this fall, Toho is now focused on bringing Godzilla back to Japan. Yeah, for some reason, when they bring Godzilla to the U.S., it never seems to work out very well. Godzilla hasn't had an impact in years, and it didn't become part of the general public's conscious until Warner Brothers rebooted the film here in the United States last summer. So yeah, I mean that's pretty cool because I actually kind of enjoy those movies. I don't know why, because they are really obviously beyond campy, but they are actually, to say the least, they are pretty entertaining. I'm just trying to bleed through, check through and see if there's anything worth checking out. I'm sorry, this looks really funny. Figuring out what it is. It's actually a video. Oh, God, yes. I would recommend this, folks. I'm just putting it on my Facebook now. It's from this woman I really like called Debbie Cortez. She's got the coolest stuff. And it's called Young Paper Boys is the name of the link. And it's this cat. Yeah, it's these cats being bad. And the one cat's on a four-wheeler, a little miniature four-wheeler for the cat. And, yeah, they're stopping with this guy in a Jeep. I'm just going through what I'm seeing right now. It looks like the cat's talking to the other cat, and the other cat gives the sign of hey, I'm gonna cut your throat or something. So it's basically going drag racing with the one cat on the four-wheeler and the other cat in the Jeep with some guy. So the cat in the four-wheeler tries to beat these guys in the Jeep. This isn't in this video, by the way. And the cat loses control of its four-wheeler, flips off, and it gives the two other, the guy and the cat in the Jeep. It's a sports utility Jeep from Jeep. But the cat that falls off his four-wheeler gives basically the FU sign with its one, so to speak, arm and its paw. So, when you give that FU that way. So that was pretty funny. I really don't have that much. I know I keep on just saying the same thing over and over again. I'm looking at what catches my attention at this point. But this one looks pretty funny. CinemaBlend.com. Nightmare on Elm Street may get another reboot since nobody liked the last one. And that is kind of funny, actually, because the last one is that guy Rorschach, and was the actor who played Rorschach was actually Freddy Krueger. It was all right, but you know what? You got to kind of get to the point that maybe making all these reboots is not exactly the way you want to go. Why don't you come up with something, an original idea? Heaven forbid, I know everything's been done. Oh, I might have to cut this short. This is really cool. This is on Kevin Smith's website. He's actually selling one of his shirts now. Some folks have asked about the latest jersey design, and it's basically got Kevin Smith as, is that the Redskins or something? No, it says Bob Hawks instead of the Red Hawks logo T-shirt. He's actually selling those now. So, I'm actually interested, actually. So, it looks really cool, too. I don't know if that's something Kevin Smith... It says that he is selling it. He says, like, people are interested, and he says he has sizes like large through extra large, so... some folks have been asking about the latest jersey design and if they will be selling it by popular demand. Get your Bob Hawks t-shirt at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash online. So, hey, you know where I'm going right now. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. That's pretty funny. It looks like my neighbor. A friend, put up this picture. It looks like there's this old lady. She's got glasses. She's pulling up, looking at her laptop. But it looks like my neighbor next door, and it says, "Damn, computers keep on saying I have mail." And it says, "I've walked out to the mailbox then 10 times today, and there's nothing in there." Basically, it's like this woman has email, and she doesn't know what that means. So when she says, like, when it says she's got mail, she assumes it means mail in the mailbox, not email. So, yeah, that is pretty funny. But it's just hilarious. If you would see my next door neighbor, you would think it was her. So, yeah, so again, I don't have too much else to go by. So I keep on saying that, and I just keep on like blabbing my mouth off, so I'm not really being too successful. I actually fell behind on something. I'm going to see if I can pull it back up. But it says RDJ and Jude Law want to come back for Sherlock. And that's on moviepilot.com. They're writing part 3 now. Excellent, my dear Watson. And by the way, I think if I remember correctly, Sherlock Holmes never had said elementary, my dear Watson in the same sentence. That just became something that people just kind of, I think the papers or whatever, or the media used to say. But when Woody Cott wrote those novels, those books, those stories... Who was that? He never put that Sherlock Holmes would say both. Excuse me, folks. That is not very good. I should know who wrote Sherlock Holmes, and that's like one of my favorite stories. But I don't remember, because, I know. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So anyway... I just been rambling on, and I really apologize. So everyone, try to bear through this show, and maybe when something else interesting comes up, or if I can get Daryl on, that'd be really cool, because he's a very, very cool dude. I'd love to have him on. So anyway, right now I'm just going to sign off, because I'm just basically talking out of my ass, because I'm so tired. I'll talk to you folks later, and I am signing off for now on iWalter on Friday morning, almost at 5 o'clock. August 7th, 2015. So, adios.